existence, which I certainly believe our chamber can claim. I don't think I exaggerate if I say that over the decades, the Madras Chamber has become and has come to be seen as a responsible and credible voice of trade and industry in this part of the world.
On behalf of the Madras Chamber of Commerce and Industry, we welcome you all for this program. Before I proceed with the program, may I now request all of you to put your mobile phones on silent mode, please, or switch it off. Thank you. It's indeed a moment of pride for us in the chamber, as the chamber is having its 175th AGM today. We had it just now. Our business session was over. In all modesty, we can still say that not very many organizations would have crossed this kind of a milestone. As I said, we just now had a very vibrant business session and we are moving on to the public session. May I now request my President, Mr. Srinivasa Raghavan, to begin the session with his welcome address and also briefly present the special activities of the chamber which are being pursued for this 175th year, please.
Thank you, Saraswati. Dr. Subir Lokha, Deputy Governor, Reserve Bank of India. Mr. Narendra, Chairman, Indian Overseas Bank. Other senior officials from RBI, dignitaries from other chambers and trade promotion organizations, senior officials from government, members of the media, past presidents of the chamber, my colleagues, Mr. Shivaraman and other members of the General Committee, fellow members, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure to welcome you all to the 175th AGM of the Madras Chamber of Commerce and Industry. This is indeed a historic and momentous day as we commemorate 175 years of service to trade and industry. We have traversed a long and sometimes arduous road, but through it all, we have remained committed to the fundamental values and objectives of the Chamber. Over the decades, the Chamber has come to be seen as a responsible and credible voice of trade and industry in Tamil Nadu. The 175th year celebrations were launched on September 29th last year, following which several new initiatives were flagged off. The Food for Thought series, a monthly forum on wide-ranging issues of topical interest, which we commenced in September 2010, has evoked great interest and drawn wide appreciation from all our members. These discussions have served to bring into sharper focus the burning issues of the day and help the Chamber reach out to a larger audience. The flagship initiative of the Chamber in its 175th year is the establishment of a skill development center. It is a well-accepted fact that one of the major problems facing industry today, especially in Tamil Nadu, is the non-availability of manpower. As the debate on unemployment versus employability continues, the stark reality on the ground is that there is a crying need for formally trained manpower to keep our factories running. It is in this context that our Chamber has embarked on an ambitious project to set up a skill development center. Thanks to the foresight of my predecessors, we have the necessary land at a strategic location between Sri Perumbudur and Thiruvallur on the outskirts of Madras. A significant amount of groundwork has already been done towards this end, and we are actively talking to potential sponsors and donors for setting up this facility. While on the one hand, this would help our member companies fill their manpower gaps, on the other, it would provide meaningful career opportunities to young people from neighboring communities. Going back in history, the Chamber had been instrumental in the setting up of the Madras port, now the Chennai port. Sadly, the port is today beset with several problems and has increasingly become a bottleneck for exporters and importers alike. The Chamber has been active in voicing the concerns of industry and has recently commissioned a study on the current issues facing the Chennai port with a view to come up with a set of recommendations to revitalize this critical gateway. Another important study on the entrepreneurial ecosystem in Tamil Nadu is also in the offing. An interesting and special initiative taken up during the year was the commissioning of a coffee table book, which is to be released at the conclusion of our 175th year celebrations in September this year. That will be on Chamber Day. This book traces the history and heritage of the Chamber and its significant contributions to the development of trade and industry in the region. I'm happy to report that the book is shaping up very well, and I'm sure that it will be a collector's item when it finally comes out. A number of important events such as India Corporate Week, All India Workshop on Indirect Tax Laws, Conference on Mainstreaming Green Energy, participation in high-level discussions with government authorities on GST and IFRS, the Parliamentary Standing Committee on Finance on DTC, and the RBI Working Group on NBFCs, improved networking and collaborative events with other organizations such as the British Deputy High Commission and the Italian Trade Commission also marked the year. The Chamber's expert committees on various subjects have been our pillars of strength and have enabled the Chamber to articulate its views on several critical issues affecting our members and industry at large. The Chamber's revamped website strengthens our communication with members and also provides a good platform for members to interact between themselves. In summary, I am pleased to report that the Chamber has had an activity-packed year. We're also working on a grand celebration to mark the completion of our 175th year, which, as I mentioned, falls on the 29th of September 2011, which we celebrate as Chamber Day. We are indeed fortunate to be part of this moment in history, and I'm confident that this momentum will take us far beyond September 2011. In fact, I'd like to see this as a new beginning, and together we can lay the foundations for the next 175 years of the Chamber's growth. India today is recognized as one of the fastest growing economies in the world. Hardly needs any elaboration. This growth is driven by a strong domestic market, robust manufacturing and services sectors, and a steadily growing export base. The 12th plan aims for a growth of 10%, and it is believed in some quarters that we could actually overtake China in the next few years. We have also shown great resilience during times of recession thanks to our prudent regulatory mechanisms and our inherent strengths as an economy and as a nation. However, for economic development to be meaningful and sustainable, it has to be inclusive and address the needs of a wide spectrum of our population. Equally, it must address concerns around environmental protection and social equity, finally leading to an improvement in the quality of life for our teeming millions. As a Chamber, we have been sensitive to these realities and hence chose sustainable development as the theme for our 175th year. Many of our activities are, in fact, woven around this theme. Today, we are faced with the challenges of rising inflation, widespread poverty, the rural-urban divide, to name just a few, which are roadblocks to the sustainability of our development. It is against this backdrop that we requested Dr. Gokan, an economist of eminence, as also someone who is closely associated with policy making at the highest level, to address us on economic reforms for sustainable growth. Dr. Gokan has been a friend of the Chamber and has been with us earlier in a different avatar. We are indeed privileged to have him with us again on this historic occasion and eagerly look forward to his address on this important theme. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, I extend a warm welcome to all of you and thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Mr. President, for your welcome address as well as for the overview, bird's eye view presented about the activities especially taken up during this year. May I now request the President to present a small bouquet to our chief guest. Thank you, sir. In the words of Madras Chamber's first chairman, John Arbuthnot, in 1836, the objective of the Madras Chamber is to watch over and protect the interests of trade, receive and collect information on all matters of mercantile interest bearing upon the removal of grievances and promotion of the common good, receive references on matters of custom or usage in doubt or dispute, decide on the same and record the decisions made for further reference, and to form by that and other code of practices whereby the transaction of business by all companies engaged in it are simplified and facilitated, ensuring the ease of doing business and trade facilitation were high in the agenda and continue to be high for the Chamber, which is the foundation of economic reforms. We have with us Dr. Subir Gokan to talk on a very topical theme, economic reforms for sustainable growth. Let me take the privilege of introducing Dr. Subir. Dr. Subir Gokan is currently the Deputy Governor of the Reserve Bank of India, overseeing the Monetary Policy Department, Department of Economic and Policy Research, Department of Statistics and Information Management, Financial Markets Department, Department of Communication, and Deposit Insurance and Credit Guarantee Corporation. Dr. Gokan also represents the Reserve Bank at the G20 Deputies Forum. Prior to joining the RBI in November 2009, Dr. Gokan was the Chief Economist of Standard & Poor's Asia Pacific 2007-2009, Executive Director and Chief Economist of CRISIL 2002-2007, Chief Economist IFCA Chair in Industrial Development at the National Council of Applied Economic Research NCAER, New Delhi 2000-2002, and Associate Professor at the Indira Gandhi Institute of Development Research, Mumbai 1991-2000. Dr. Gokan graduated from St. Xavier's College, Mumbai with a BA Honours in Economics and from the Delhi School of Economics with an MA in Economics in 1981. He received a PhD from Case Western Reserve University, USA in 1989. He was awarded a Fulbright Research Fellowship in 1997, on which he spent an academic year at the Economic Growth Center at Yale University, USA. He contributed a fortnightly column on current economic issues to the Business Standard for 13 years. He was also a member of the Board of India Today Economists during 2002-2009. He has regularly participated in committees and other activities of industry associations, academic institutions, government agencies, and civil society organizations. May I now request on all our behalf for our chief guest to make his presentation, please.